Skoda Octavia is a car that's found at home in many Irish driveways over the last 20 years, and for good reason too. It's a safe, smart and sensible choice of family car. But sensible doesn't always have to mean boring, and this VRS 230 model is anything but, offering serious performance under that demure exterior while still holding on to all the practicality that made it so popular in the first place. I'm going to start with the drive on this one because that's what VRS is all about, and with 230 HP and a 2-litre turbocharged petrol engine under the hood, it's just as fun as you would expect. It will do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 6.3 seconds, and not that you'll ever get to experience it here, has a top speed of 250 kilometers an hour. So there's this ferocious power available at all times, and it always just feels raring to go. But on those everyday spins where you're not going to be able to go as fast as it will make you want to, it's pretty well behaved too. And even with the stiffer, lower sport suspension of this VRS model, it's still a pretty comfortable ride with nice light controls and a really good driving position. It's reasonably quiet inside the cabin too, save for those lovely engine notes, and it does sound really good in here. But if this is not your bag and you're more interested in good fuel economy, not that this one is particularly bad in relation to performance at 46 miles to the gallon, there is a huge range of petrol and diesel options in the standard Octavia lineup which will do much more than that, including the much smaller but still brilliant 1.2 TSI which will do 58 miles to the gallon, and then some of the diesels in the lineup which can go as high as 88. So there's a lot of choice when it comes to engines, and the same can be said for trim levels. Going back to the standard range again, you've got the basic active model which starts at €19,000, then the very popular and well-spec'd mid-range Ambition model which for €22,000 will add things like cruise control, parking sensors and an upgraded interior. At the top of the range then is the Style, which still at under €24,500 will add some very fancy touches like climate control, 17-inch alloy wheels and a reversing camera. This VRS 230 however gets loads more kit as standard, including leather sport seats, bi-xenon headlamps, 19-inch extreme alloy wheels, sportier VRS styling and even a lap timer. It's at the slightly eyebrow-raising end of the scale price-wise for Skoda, starting at €36,000, but it's still cheaper than a Golf GTI. It's also bigger, and I'm going to leave the toys aside for a second and go back to the basics of what originally made this such a great family car. It's got a massive 590-litre boot with some of those simply clever Skoda touches thrown in there, like smaller storage compartments and shopping bag hooks. Storage inside the cabin is good, with plenty of areas to stash your phone, hold your coffee and keep things nice and tidy. There's plenty of room up front with lots of adjustment for the driver to get comfortable, generous legroom in the back with space enough for 3 across the middle and Isofix fittings for child seats. 5 out of 5 stars on the NCAP crash test makes it one of the safer cars to be in a collision, and you've also got the option of adding more active safety features like lane departure warning and road sign recognition. Technology wise, it's about as connected as you can get with that great Volkswagen Group touchscreen infotainment system, complete with SmartLink phone connectivity and Apple's CarPlay for iPhone. And finally, you can't talk about the Octavia without mentioning its incredible reputation for reliability. And it's the #1 car people will tell you to buy if you're just after hassle-free motoring. Its popularity as a taxi is testament to that, plus the fact that it allows you to drive around in comfort without costing the air to buy or to run. The addition of fun and sporty models like this one only serve to widen its appeal, and the VRS is a great option for those who don't want to compromise on space and practicality for a sporty drive. So it's a VR yes from us, but if you want to check it out for yourself, you can find your local Skoda dealer and now even book yourself a test drive on CarsIreland.ie.